Also, this is actually another reason why I think body count matters, and why having a woman who has a low body count is very important. This is actually probably where a lot of Christian men might get into trouble, especially with a woman who's had numerous previous sexual partners. And like, if a girl, here's the thing, right? When a girl starts having more and more sexual partners, not only, and this is going even beyond like sexual skills in the bedroom, as you start hooking up with more and more guys, eventually you're going to land on a guy who is just either really good in bed, or is really hot, really attractive, or he's got high status, or he's got a lot of money, and you're going to hold your future partners to that guy. So once a woman's been with like a real, like a top G like Brandon over here, she's done. And now she's gonna go settle for like an average dude, because here's the difference between men and women. Women can very easily, and JBS had a comment here that I'm gonna pull up in just a sec, like women can get sexual access to very, very attractive men, high status, wealth, they could even be good in the bedroom too. But those men aren't necessarily going to commit to you, because one of the differences between men and women is a guy of a certain, it could be physical attractiveness, it could be status, it could be socioeconomic, whatever it is, he'll sleep with a woman that is less attractive than him or of a different socioeconomic status. He'll never commit to her. So you could have like an average girl who goes hooks up with a millionaire or billionaire. He's not going to commit to you, but now you've introduced into your periphery a certain lifestyle. You've been with a certain tier of guy, and it's going to be very, very hard for you to now go and settle for a guy who's actually on your level.
I think if you want to, you can get a guy like that.
If you want to,
if they want to,
if a girl wants to
stay with a guy that gave her everything, then they can.
Here's the thing, right? Like,
I agree with you.
Yeah, like
if she doesn't sleep with him, maybe.
If she doesn't sleep with him?
Yeah, I mean, like, to keep a man's attention, the best way is to not do that quickly.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you're on his level, a guy's not like. Here's the thing, right? There's this concept called hypergamy. Like, women are trying to get the best man that they can get, and so what you have happening on dating apps, for example, and most people are meeting online, most people are meeting on dating apps, you have a very, very small percentage of men on these dating apps that are matching with all the women. They've done studies on this, they've released the data. Women are only swiping on the top 5, top 10% of men on these dating apps. So what you're gonna have happen is all the attention is going towards the top 10% of men on these dating apps. Typically, those are the most physically attractive men, because the dating apps operate on a fairly superficial, shallow level. So it's really it's really making physical attraction, looks, the focus. Women are giving all their attention to the top 10, top 5% of men. They have all the optionality. They're going to sleep with these women that they would otherwise never entertain for a long-term relationship, because they welcome the easy access to sex. So here's the big difference. Men will sleep with women of a certain of a certain physical attractiveness that they would never consider being in a relationship with. Because for men, like, they'll sleep with a girl, but just based on her looks alone, will never be in a relationship with her. But they're like, okay, cool, easy sex, sweet. But what ends up happening is that girl then thinks, because I'm able to have sex with that guy, therefore I must also be on that level. That's the guy that I deserve for a long-term relationship. So let's just to use numbers here. Let's say a girl who's a 6, she can get with a guy who's an 8 or a 9. Looks-wise, he's never going to commit to her, but he will have sex with her. Maybe once, he might even keep her around as a friends with benefits. She'll never get commitment. So that's where women kind of get in this trap. And then what ends up happening, they get sexual attention. Say average women get sexual attention from men that are that are more physically attractive than them. They now think, that's my level, that's my league. That's not your league. You can get sex from those men. That's not your league, though. In the same way that you can get attention from a guy who's got a certain, like Drake, it's got a certain level of status, right? Actually, let me not bring in. I'm not going to bring in status. I'll just keep it to looks. So what you have happening is these women. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. What ends up happening is that the guys who are actually on their level, average women no longer want average men, and this is evidenced by the fact that women view like 80 to 90% of men as physically unattractive. So as women, if you start chasing after these men who will give you access to sex, they'll never give you a ring or a relationship, then the men who are actually on your level, who will be loyal, who will give you commitment, who will give you a ring, you think you're settling for him, even though that's your looks equivalent, that's your match, that's your league, that's on your level. You think they're below you. So I think that's a big thing.
I think that's a great point, and I feel like we need, like,
That
if
was
we
very
can,
long-winded, sorry.
if you can get in a 30-second clip, like, let's just pass it around so every girl can see that and read it, because I think it's very important. I mean, I even think that some guys that are like a 10 will sleep with a 6 if there's alcohol involved. I mean, if there's certain things.
Oh, guys who are 10s will absolutely
For sure.
sleep with a 6. They will never commit to them.
What I was saying though is I think
But one thing, and I'll let you finish. The reverse isn't true for women, though.
Yeah.
For a woman to sleep with a guy, typically the guy needs to be at least physically attractive enough to be in a relationship with.
okay.
Women will
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
and women will actually,
Not disagreeing.
and typically women will actually break a rule. So it's almost the reverse. So men will break their rule for, when it comes to sex, casual sex, men will sleep down. When it comes to casual sex, women will typically sleep up. So like women will bend their rules if the guy's really physically attractive.
Sure.
Maybe their previous standard was, okay, I don't sleep on the first date, or I'm waiting. But if a guy's physically attractive enough, a lot of women will break their rule.
Which is dumb. But what I'm saying is, if you're within like 1 degree, right? 1.5.
Yeah, sure.
If you want a chance of maybe making him your man, the best thing you can do is not sleep with him. Because
True.
then because let's say you're a girl, like there are some girls, maybe they're 6, but they have like an amazing personality, like that counts for something. And so then you give the guy a little bit of time to get to know you, while he also is like intrigued and intrigued by you sexually. And so then the combo, and then maybe there's a better chance. Now, when it's a 6 and a 10, sure, I totally agree. But I think like for like the best way to get a man is not to sleep with him.
I will